Welcome to mission number 3 of Gustoff's campaign. After their last mission, fighting the witch and trying to steal some of her food, they finally had their bellies full because Presh was able to steal quite a bit of it. And instead of trying to get their injuries healed, they decided to search their surroundings, and lo and behold, they found Hank, the man in the just left of the center there, with the green and blue pants. And he is Presh's husband, and he was originally part of their group, but when they fled the cannibal tribe, they all scattered. So Hank is very happy to see them, and he has come to find out been living in this town nearby, and he shows them the town. But the town has been having a serious issue lately, and what that is, this is what they call a Narrows town, where people are generally good. They kind of ignore all the bad things going on, and they just try to live a peaceful life. As you can see, it is a conglomeration of different races and peoples, and recently all of their crops are dying, all of their trees are dying. They've suddenly had this plague come down upon their town, and they've discovered that there's these strange people that are very, very diseased and evil in the woods nearby. And they've been doing horrible different ceremonies and rituals, and they have actually tainted the nearby river into a green slime, and it's infecting everything that it comes in contact with. They've tried several times to uproot these people, and every time they just die and end up waking back at their town. Also, the people that are tainting this river will periodically go down into their town and steal things and rob them and murder them and all of that. So far they've been unsuccessful in beating them. So they say to Gustoff and company, once Hank shows them where the town is and they meet up with some of the townsfolk, they say that they want Gustoff and company to finally get rid of whatever it is that is causing this this tainting of the river and the plague that's coming down on them. Now, what they say is they believe that it is this obelisk or this henge that has been erected near the river that is tainting it, and they think that there's something buried underground there. Some sort of artifact or creature. So, they have many different riches and many different artifacts in this town, and they say, look, if you guys can take care of this for us, we will give you something very nice and worth your while. So, of course, Gustoff sees dollar signs and says, yes, we will help. And also, after the last mission, Presh is now upgraded to have minions. You'll notice that the tankards that she's holding have milk in them, and now she has a weasel and a crow that follow her around, and they are her minions each battle. And as a special guest for this mission, I have my friend Matt, who's been helping with me with Brutality since the beginning, and he has started a new warband of Nurgle, obviously, Death Guard, and he will go through who they are and what they're kitted out with.
Okay, so we have the leader, Poxrox, his right-hand man, Guzzle Guts, the grenade guy, Glob Lob, and this is Plus Pete and Flemmy Lemmy, and together they make up Poxrock and the Blighter Boys.
Okay. Now, what classes are they for this mission?
Poxrox is a heavy range with his plasma gun. Mm-hmm. Guzzle Guts is a berserker with his, blade. Blob Blob is ambush. He likes to jump out, surprise people with grenades. Plus Pete is ranged, and Flemmy Lemmy is melee. Okay.
This is the right after the deployment. I wanted to mention that Matt and what's his name? Poxrox, they took the Sturdy faction ability, so 1 through 3 they don't take an ill effect on the wound chart. And we are taking the Stealthy ability because we're trying to sneak in here, so we'll be getting an extra cover. Every time we get a cover save, we'll be getting an extra point of it. And we have deployed here, so we have Marianne Hank, and we have Gustoff, and Oswald, and Presh and her minions, and then Aaron. We have an objective here, which is something they stole from the town. We have an objective here they've stole from the town. We have the obelisk here where we're going to have to dig to try to get something. And this device over here they've stolen. You see the river is all disgusting and has been plagued. There's a nasty swamp back here, and there's their little camp. So one person is missing here because he's in ambush, so he comes in on turn 2. And there is his... Which one is this? Ranged?
Yeah, range.
Yeah, ranged. And then what's the next guy?
Melee.
Melee.
Berserker.
Berserker, and finally
Heavy range.
heavy ranged. So that is the long and short of it. Matt finished deploying first, so he gets to go first. The first activation, Poxrox moves behind these trees. You see him right there. Takes aim at Aaron, which is my ranged person. Does 1 unsaved wound to her and knocks her down. I activated Presh's pet weasel, which moved and ran a total of 16 inches and went up to that objective. Flemmy Lemmy moves up and rolls a 1 for his run. Maria moves up and helps stage the soon-to-be assault Hank is going to do onto, is it Flemmy Lemmy? Yeah. On Flemmy Lemmy around that tree there, so she puts, she opens up her book and a swirl of ghosts go around Hank to protect him. Guzzleguts moves up and runs up to the objective. This is Hank's first mission in this campaign, and he came out swinging. He had a 9-inch charge to get to Flemmy Lemmy and rolled a natural 10. Came over here and walloped Flemmy Lemmy with 2 wounds, -2 to his willpower, -2 to his dexterity. Alright, Puss Pete takes aim at Hank and deals 2 unsaved wounds, dealing -1 to his willpower, and a leg wound, -2 movement. That's going to hurt Hank. Hank is down to 1 wound. Matt's people were finished activating, so I activated all of my people one right after another. Preshlum ran over there from the top right corner, over to the pillar here. Oswald moved up, and he blessed Maria with some protection, and gave Gustoff some protection. He rolled a natural 1. He also did a hazardous barrier, right there, an 8-inch one. And then Gustoff moved up and assaulted the, what's his name?
Guzzleguts.
Guzzleguts, and got a plague knife to the eye. He's now blinded. He did no damage to Guzzleguts. He took a wound and he's blinded currently. The crow moved up here into that slime, and Aaron took 2 shots at, what's his name?
Poxrox.
Poxrox, and dealt 1 damage with no effect. This is the beginning of turn 2. I won the roll-off, and of course I had to activate Preshlum first. She goes over to the arcane symbol over there and starts digging for what they think is under there, and all of a sudden all of this plague and pestilence comes out. She rolls a natural 10, and hallucinogenic winds come out of that hill. The only person that is affected is Gustoff and the crow. I guess it blew that way. Gustoff is now blinded, and until his next activation, he gets -2 to fighting skill and his dexterity, and he's disarmed, as well as that poor crow that is high off its rocker. For the purposes of this mission, we will say that the Plague Marines are immune to any 10s or 1s because they are the cause of this disgustingness.
Guzzleguts.
Guzzleguts comes around Gustoff, and while Gustoff is still high off the hallucinogenic gases, he assaults him from behind, blinds him a second time, so now he's got a plague knife in both eyes, and then he ended up murdering him. So they get a victory point. Maria calls out to Hank saying, "Wait, Hank, don't assault yet until I heal you," and Hank's like, "Screw that." So he kills Flemmy Lemmy, and Flemmy Lemmy kills him. Blob Blob emerges from this crop of trees and assaults Oswald with a blight grenade of some sort, pausing him and freezing him. He's, why is he stuck? Slime or goo?
Yeah, it's just, like a pus or something.
Yeah, like a pus grenade, that's what he did.
Ugh.
He failed his willpower check, so he took a wound to make it go off. Aaron moves up and tries to come to Oswald's aid, shooting at Globlob, and misses both shots. Poxrox moves up towards that objective and kills Precious Weasel up on that hill. Presh whistles for her crow, who comes out of that goo and comes over here and starts scratching and pawing at this obelisk, and lo and behold, it rolls a 1. It is now knocked down and confused. Puss Pete takes aim at that poor confused and knocked down crow and kills it right before its master Precious' eyes. That was quite rude. Alright, Matt is done activating everybody, and I still have Oswald and Maria left, so Oswald attempts to break free of the paws and fails his dexterity check. Then Maria moves up and goes to heal Aaron and rolls a natural 1, so she heals Aaron and removes the paws off of Oswald. This is the top of turn 3. I've lost 4 models, Matt's only lost 1, so I wanted Presh to dig in this mound one more time, but unfortunately that guy in front of her is within 6 inches in line of sight. So I have to get Oswald to move up and put a blocking line of sight barrier in front of her so that she can dig on her next activation. And he attempts to do a protective barrier or a shroud on Maria and fails. Guzzleguts decides to run out of the river and attack Aaron. He kills her in one fell swoop, doing 4 unsaved wounds. There must be some seriously powerful magic at this altar, because for the 3rd time this game I have tried to roll a 2 through 9, and the first time I rolled a 10, the second time I rolled a 1, and now poor Presh just got knocked down and confused by rolling another 1. Poxrox moves over just a little bit and takes aim at Oswald, dealing 1 unsaved wound, and terrible -2 willpower to him. That really sucks on a support character, especially in a campaign. Maria knows how important this is to try to retrieve this artifact from this column, so she puts caution to the wind and moves up onto this hill, and she is successful in earning us 2 victory points and getting that object out of the icon there. Matt activates Globlob next, and he comes up and he confuses all 3 of them using his aura ability, and that is going to really hurt, especially being that Oswald is -2 willpower now, trying to break free of that. Then Puss Pete activates and shoots at Maria, dealing 1 unsaved wound and blinding this poor woman. Preshlam activated first on the top of turn 4. She failed her willpower check, so she's still confused, which means they randomly moved D10 inches in a random direction, but she was also knocked down, so she basically just got up and is like, oh my god, what's happening? Meanwhile, what's that guy's name?
Guzzleguts.
Guzzleguts assaults poor Oswald and murders him. Poor Maria tries to break out of her confusion and her blinded and fails both tests, and then just kind of blindly wanders into this river over here, having no idea what's going on. First, Poxrox shot at poor Maria and did absolutely nothing to her. And then Puss Pete took aim at Maria and killed her, and did no lasting effects for the campaign, but murdered poor Maria in the sludge. There she is. And then Globlob was going to assault Maria, and then he kind of thought she was cute, found an affinity for her, and said, you know what, I can't assault this elderly lady.
I'm Team Presh, I can't help it.
Team Presh. So he chose not to do anything, plus the real reason was he was already at 1 hit point, so he didn't want to lose his guy. But this was an utter catastrophe for Gustoff and team. Matt has 7 points, and I have 3, so this was just nonsense. This was terrible. So, needless to say, there really was some powerful magic at this altar, and it hurt a crow, hurt Presh twice. It was nasty. But luckily,
you did have some crazy rolls.
Yeah, it was kind of nuts. But luckily, Maria did get whatever was out of this altar, and you know, when you die with whatever's in your possession, you wake up with it. So Maria was able to retrieve whatever that object was, and we'll be able to get that in the campaign as an item. We would have gotten another item if we had won this looting mission, but of course we did not by a long margin. And the townsfolk also told us that they were going to give us an object for if we could retrieve this thing, so we'll see how that goes, but my people have been maimed. I don't think we'll be exploring after this mission at all.